We are the British people. We are the Spitfire pilots, the Hurricane pilots. We are the sailors of the Royal Navy. We are the Royal Marines, the SAS. We are the pioneers of the British Empire. We live in the greatest country in the world, and we have had enough of sellout, self-serving, corrupt politicians selling us down the river. We are going to take our country back. First of all, thank you for coming, and thank you for having Britain First in Ballymena. Hands up how many people have seen Britain First in action on social media, YouTube, etc. See them hands up. So I'm sure you realise and appreciate and understand that we are not like the rest of them. We are not your average politicians with our snouts in the trough. We're not self-serving careerists selling our bloody country out for 30 pieces of silver. Yeah. We love our country and we always will. Now, last week, or the week before, we got a message from someone who lives up here in Ballymena. And he said, we've got a terrible, terrible problem up here in this small town with a massive influx of Romanian and Bulgarian gypsies who are very antisocial and causing big problems. So I googled the publicity and I read through it, and we decided to come up and meet this gentleman. On that day, I was absolutely shocked, driving up and down that road at the end through Harryville, just to see, just gang after gang, family after family, just endless conveyor belt of East European gypsies walking the streets, and it was just shocking. I said, where the hell am I? I mean, is this actually Ballymena? Now, I know for a fact, I've been around Northern Ireland, you don't have a massive problem like we do in England with mass immigration. But I can tell you now, it is and will happen, and this place will get as bad as England if we allow it to. Now I stopped and I spoke to them very politely, but I asked these gypsies that I saw walking about, you come over to this country from Romania, Bulgaria and other countries, do you get houses? Literally every single one of them said, yes, I get a house. And I said, do you get benefits off the government? Do you get money? And almost every single one of them said, yes, we do. Hands up if you saw that video last week. It had 500,000 views by the time Facebook took it down. It went viral. It was in all the newspapers, the Belfast Telegraph, the Irish News, the Ballymena Daily. It was in every single newspaper. Everyone come out to condemn Britain First just for pointing this problem out. The DUP, Sinn Fein, the whole bloody lot of them came out to condemn us just for pointing out that this town is being overrun by waves of immigration and the locals do not want it and no one's standing up for them. Now, for me to be condemned by the mass murdering scumbags of Sinn Fein is a badge of bloody honour. Imagine that, Sinn Fein trying to take the moral high ground with us. You couldn't make it up, could you? Absolute trash. Now, I don't care what the politicians say, they can call us all the names under the sun, and they do. They call us racists, they call us bigots, but I'll tell you what we are the native people of this country, and they've had enough. But I want to ask you something today. I want you to direct your anger at the people responsible. Don't take your frustrations out on them, on the gypsies. Don't take your frustration out on them, because they're not the ones who've sold you down the river. I can tell you who sold you down the river. These self-serving career politicians of the DUP.
Not only the DUP.
Absolute uproar amongst the people of this town. Absolute uproar in these streets, in these houses, with our families being put to the back of every queue imaginable, and these influxes of migrants are being put first. Now whose bloody country is it? Ours or theirs? But I'll tell you now, don't take your anger out on them, because they're not the ones who betrayed you. This town is run by the DUP. What have they done for our people in this town? What have they done? You might have seen, when I came up to this very pub, and I met with this gentleman who'd invited us up here, and I said to him, what's going on in this town? One of the things he told me is that the locals who are complaining about antisocial behaviour, the DUP councillors are actually reporting the locals who are making complaints for hate speech to the police. An absolute shocking disgrace. They want your votes, but they're not prepared to stand up for you, are they?
No. Who's protecting them?
Now, faced with this knowledge that the DUP councillors have been reporting people for racism to the police when they complain about this influx, this unsettling influx of East European gypsies, I went into the office of Paul Frew MLA in the town, and I was very respectful. I said thank you, please, and when we was on the way out I told the boys to shut the door. Straight away, as soon as our video went up, this self-serving careerist Paul Frew, MLA for the DUP for this area, went onto social media complaining that we had invaded his office, intimidated his daughter and his staff. It was lies, because the very next day I released the full unedited footage of what happened in his office. And do you know what happened? He took his entire bloody Facebook page down.
Yes.
Paul Frew and the rest of these trough-feeding parasite politicians don't give a damn about our people. I'm from England. I've got more love for Northern Ireland than any of the DUP councillors and absolutely sick to death. We have them in England, we have them in Parliament, we have them in the local councils over there. Same story every single time. They want your votes and then they completely abandon you. They reverse every single promise and vow and pledge they make during their elections, and they sell us down the river every single chance they get. But I can tell you now, I would rather burn in hell than betray my own people for 20 pieces of silver. They can offer me all the money in the world, all the position in the world. I am never more happy than being on the streets of my own towns and cities with my own people, fighting their corner, giving voice to the silent majority in this country. Who understands where I'm coming from? Now, who's to blame for this mess that we're in?
Government.
The government, the politicians, the councillors, the MLAs. All of them, they're all feeding at the public taxpayer trough. And I'll tell you now that we have had enough. Britain First is going to be standing for election in Ballymena next year and across this country. We're going to be putting forward our own candidates. I can tell you now, we don't give a damn about career. We don't give a damn about our salaries that we would get as elected officials. We don't give a damn about the perks and all the things that you get when you're elected. We only care about one thing, and that is fighting for our people, no matter what the media and the politicians throw at us. The establishment is going to do everything they possibly can to shut Britain First up. But we are here and we are going nowhere. We're here to upset the apple cart, to give a voice to the silent majority of our people who have been betrayed by successive waves of unionist sellout politicians. If you look at these placards and you look at our logo on there underneath BFNI, what does it say? Britain First, no surrender. The thing is, people, we need to take action now. And I can tell you how to do it. Stop voting for the mainstream unionist politician sellouts. For once in your life, stop voting for them. Don't worry, every single person I speak to says we've got to vote for them because otherwise Sinn Fein will take over. Sinn Fein will dominate. Sinn Fein already control this country. Sinn Fein already call the shots in Northern Ireland. What have you got to lose? The DUP is absolutely convinced that our people in Northern Ireland are too stupid that they will continue to vote for the DUP no matter what, because they're worried about Sinn Fein taking over. You can tell we live in a country where people like Jerry Kelly, who shot a prison guard in the head, is sitting in government, but our veterans are being prosecuted out there in our towns and cities. So don't tell me for one moment that the DUP is fighting our corner. There's no Union Jack, is there? There's no Union flag on City Hall. There's veterans being prosecuted. And what the hell is the DUP doing? Bugger all. We need real British patriots like Britain First to fight for our people in our towns and cities. And I can tell you now, we will never sell out, we will never go native in the establishment. We will fight for our people to our dying breath and our last drop of energy, because we love our people and all we care about is securing a future for our children in our own country. These little nippers that surround me now, they're all that matters. Sacrifice your own life to ensure that they have a future in our own country. Get behind Britain first. My own family sacrificed to defend this country in the Second World War. And how many of your families sacrificed in innumerable wars throughout the decades to keep this country safe and free and independent and British? Hands up, how many of you have got war veterans in your families? Exactly. They fought for you. They fought so that Britain will be handed down to their children and grandchildren, towards future generations of our people. What are you going to do to ensure that there's a country worth living in, worth handing down to future generations? This is what Britain First is all about. Look at those placards. Britain First, taking our country back. I can tell you now, the heroes of the Battle of Britain, of the Blitz, of Normandy, of every single battle and war in our history, all our ancestors are looking down on us now, right this second, urging us to be worthy of their example. And it's about time that we rejected the sellouts, the failures, and the fraudsters like the DUP and the rest of them, because they have no desire whatsoever to put you before their own selfish ambitions, before their own selfish salaries and wages and perks and expenses. They do not give a damn. Only if you get behind a people's movement like Britain First can we or will we take our country back and build a future, build a paradise on earth for our own children. And I can tell you now, we will not stop until we take power in this country. We're going to grab this country by the scruff of the neck and we're going to rebuild it. We're going to build a paradise on earth for future generations of our people. The spirits of Monty, of Winston Churchill, of the Tommies that went over the trenches in the First World War. They are looking down on us now, urging you to rise up and take our country back. Now you need to think, when you go around Belfast or Ballymena and you see murals of the 36th Ulster Division on a wall, that's all it really seems like, a mural. But I tell you now, and it's the truth, those people, the 36th Ulster Division volunteers, they were real Ulstermen. They were real people. Some of them in your families. They went over the top and died in the tens of thousands to make sure that Britain remained British. They were real people. And it's up to us to emulate their courage. Because we are a nation of greatness, of genius. And all we need to do is say enough is enough. We are the British people, we are the Spitfire pilots, the Hurricane pilots, we are the sailors of the Royal Navy, we are the Royal Marines, the SAS, we are the pioneers of the British Empire, we live in the greatest country in the world, and we have had enough of sell-out, self-serving, corrupt politicians selling us down the river. We are going to take our country back. I can tell you now, Britain First has come to Ballymena, and I'm absolutely astonished at this amazing turnout. It was too big, admittedly, for in there. I was expecting 20 people to turn up, and here we are. We've had to come outside into the open air. But I can tell you now, Britain First will not abandon the people of Ballymena. We will not show our faces and then go somewhere else. We are here to stay until the local people get what they want, until the politicians like Paul Through and the DUP sell out take bloody notice of what our people want. If they don't, then next May we're going to be standing in local elections in Ballymena, and I can tell you now, elect Britain First councillors and we will sort this bloody problem out, come what may. We are a movement of action. We don't care about reward. All we care about is serving our people. I've dedicated my life for years on end just to serving my people, to fighting for my country. And you've probably seen some of the stuff that we get up to online. Very dangerous, very controversial, but someone needs to do it. And Britain First, if the DUP doesn't listen to you, then next May Britain First will stand candidates, elect us onto the council, and then you'll see massive, massive change. That's how democracy works. Vote Britain First next May, and you will see this town, all of a sudden, it will get sorted out overnight. And my message to Paul Through, my message to all the DUP councillors is, you better watch your back. And we are not going anywhere until you, the people of Ballymena, you get what you want. And if they don't provide it, then we certainly will. God bless you all. God bless Ballymena.